What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, along with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
What's up, man?
Man, another week.
Another week.
One more week.
Another week closer.
And thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Head to Head Sports. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Facebook. And as always, the show also airs on our Roku and Amazon Fire TV channel in Power Network. If you're on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on that bell. It'll always let you know when there are new notifications of us going live. Before we get started, too, Rand, I just wanted to throw a shout out to the Kendrick Colt. Looks like they're going to be at Moochie's this coming weekend.
Yes, sir. We will be there Friday night. For all you good people who want to come party pre-Labor Day celebration, come to Moochie's. All those in the Charlotte area.
What time is it starting?
We will kick up about 9 and we will go to 12 midnight.
Woo!
Yeah.
Y'all don't take many breaks either.
No, we don't. We take about 2 10-minute breaks and we're right back at it. It's a lot on the vocals, for real.
Yeah, I tell you, your voice must be like done the next day. You got to be.
Yeah, I couldn't do no back-to-back, no. Sometimes I have to, but I would prefer not to.
Okay. Anything else coming up after Moochie's?
Yeah, we will be at Bradshaw Social House. That's in Ballantyne. That's on the 16th of September. That's always fun. That's the spot you came to, B. So
yeah, right off Johnston Road, right?
Yeah, you can attest to that. It's always a good time there. So
yeah, nice spot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to do that one. Okay. Well, listen. All the preseason games are in the book. I think Johnson & Johnson ran out of Band-Aids yesterday because of all the cuts. Okay, y'all, I know that was corny, but I mean, shoot, there was a lot of cuts yesterday. And, it's funny. I mean, there were some cuts on Monday that started popping up and a lot of surprises as far as who got released. And, guys, it just comes down to this. It's a numbers game. They can carry up to almost 90-something players at the beginning of training camp. And really a lot of that, Rand, is just so that they have enough bodies, because one thing that is going to happen in training camp a lot of times, like it or not, are going to be injuries. And a lot of times, yes, people are trying to make roster spots, but sometimes you just need depth just because of injuries, players having to sit out, tweaking things here and there, and things like that. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's like training camp. You need basically a first team, a second team, and a third team. So there's a lot of guys to field there. But once the regular season rolls around, you're really only looking at starters and then a couple of people that you're going to activate just in case. So you only need 53 come the regular season.
Yeah, that's true. So any notable cuts that you saw yesterday that maybe you were surprised by or intrigued by?
Yes. I'm forgetting his name now, but it's a running back who just can't seem to stick anywhere, and I don't understand it.
Not Sonny Michel.
Sonny Michel. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's he started his career 2018. He's only 27 years old.
Yeah.
Averages over 4 yards per carry, very good goal line, physical back, but just can't stick with a team.
Well, what they said, Rand, is that Mostert and the other running back actually did pretty good, and he became expendable.
Yeah.
But he did help the Rams on their Super Bowl run last year, and of course he was with the Patriots for all those years. I think he was with Seattle for a little while. So you're right.
He got a ring with the Patriots too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I'm kind of just looking over to see if there's any names that kind of pop out to me. I did see that I think it was Kenyon Drake that didn't he get released too from the Raiders?
Yes, he was released.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. I know Josh Jacobs has always been their bellwether, but they've always wanted a little bit more depth at running back. So that was a little bit interesting to see. Let me see if there's any other names I can think of that.
I tell you, one that was funny as hell to me was Alex Leatherwood. What did
Number
the
7
Raiders do?
overreach, and now there's a correction.
Yeah, I mean, that is a massive loss of money right there, for one. A massive loss of time because they could have selected somebody else last year. Your first round evaluation, whoever's in charge of that needs to talk to me because when the Raiders did that last year, I was laughing at it then because I had him down as a third round selection. Raiders
Yeah.
took him first round overall, and
The,
now we're sitting here a year later and he's completely cut. Can't even
that's crazy.
him.
That's great. I mean, sometimes teams will hold on because they don't want to admit that they made a mistake. So I at least give them some credit that they didn't do what a lot of teams do and just kind of, keep them in the rotation and whatnot. But they just probably said, you know what, we're not going to waste a roster spot on this. We already know.
Yeah. The Raiders just got some really bad talent evaluation. I was going back looking at previous years. I think for their past 6 years of first round selections, like maybe one guy is still on the team from 6 years of first round selections. That is GM death, yo. That is GM death.
Hey, Anthony joins in and he says, "Hey crew, bad news," which Anthony, I don't know. This is really bad news. Jason Peters, offensive tackle, is visiting the Cowboys, shaking my head. Anthony, Jason Peters is like 95 years old, right?
Yeah, he's his number, right?
Look, not that he wasn't productive all those years with the Eagles and stuff like that, and you know what? He is a good guy. If you throw him into a rotation, maybe he can give you a couple of plays, and he would be really, really good for some of the younger guys, teaching them some techniques and things that he's learned. He was a really, really good tackle all those years. I think his impact would be more locker room than it would be on the field, though. What do you think, Rand?
Yeah, I don't see him displacing anybody on the Cowboys. So I think it's more of a depth piece. Could be wrong, but I think it's
and it looks like the Buffalo Bills let go Tavon Austin, which is different. But they also let go, if I'm not mistaken, OJ Howard. So he leaves Tampa Bay, goes to Buffalo, and doesn't stick on. And there was kind of some thought that he probably was going to get cut because they played him in damn near every preseason game with the seconds and the third. So it was not looking good that he was going to make it on the team. But OJ has always been that big tight end that I thought that he kind of reminded me of Ebron. Very big physical guys, but just never really did what I thought they could do in the NFL.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's like he was the man in college, but just couldn't catch on.
I said when I saw them in college, especially Ebron at North Carolina, I was like, oh my God, he's going to be a beast. Kind of like how we see Atlanta's new tight end. What's his name? The second year guy that they really have a lot of stock in. Yeah, Kyle Pitts. He reminds me of that same frame where almost a Kelsey kind of a build where he's just a big guy. So a linebacker would have a problem with him. A defensive back would have a problem with him because he's just so daggone big.
Yeah, OJ reminds me a lot of what's his name, Njoka with the Browns.
Oh yeah, Njoku.
Yeah. Same type of big body. Think he's gonna come out and dominate because of what he did in school, and then just get to the pros and just nothing, man. So
yeah, I'm looking at your Carolina Panthers. They let go of Brandon Zylstra, the wide receiver, Justin Burris, the safety. Let me see if there's another one on here that was kind of surprising. Sam Mecklenburg. I thought that was not Mecklenburg, Tecklenburg. See, I said Mecklenburg County. And I think that was about it. Not too many big surprises there. James O'Shaughnessy gets let go in Chicago. Tight end there. That's where everybody's career goes to die these days, seems like.
Right.
So yeah, just kind of scouting over some different cuts and stuff like that. But you think the Vikings are taking the NFC North? Hell no. Anthony asked.
We're gonna get to that, Anthony. We're gonna get to that.
As a matter of fact, bro, if you want to start with NFC North, let's start with the NFC North. And first on the list, let's start with the Detroit Football Lions, who is bringing back Rand. They're bringing back Jared Goff again as the starting quarterback, and his backup is Nate Sudfeld. So that basically cements Jared Goff as the starter. DeAndre Swift is going to be that running back, followed by Jamal Williams. Really good change of back, too. Wide receivers are going to be some names that only one that I'm really more familiar with is DJ Chark, just a little bit. But they also have Jameson Williams, Josh Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Khalif Raymond.
I tell you what, watch out for the Amon St. Brown kid. He caught 90 quietly, very quietly, caught 90 balls last year.
From Jared Goff.
Yeah, so watch out for him, man. I think he's up and coming.
Okay. And then tight end, of course, they got TJ Hawkinson as their starting tight end, and then they're actually carrying a fullback. They're running a 4-3 base defense as well. So their defense, I'm really interested to see what the Rook's going to do. Looks like he's going to start Aiden Hudson, local kid and everything. So, nice feel-good story, but now he's got to put it on the field. And, Detroit reminds me of the New York Jets in this way.
That's a good comparison.
That they will be better, but their record may not reflect that because of the conference they play in.
Yep.
Like, I still feel like they're going to be fourth at best, but still be improved.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. They got some talent there on the offensive side, but you put the empty calorie thing on Dak a lot. I wouldn't really put it on him as much as I put it on Jared Goff. That's
no doubt.
No doubt. It's like you could go up and down the field on prevent defenses, but at the end of the year, you only have 20 touchdown passes in 17 games. So that tells me
because between the goal line, between the end lines, you can get it up and down the field. You just can't punch it through.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So not very many fourth quarter comebacks either. So trailing most of the time, you're not coming back. Teams are letting you have a lot of crap. They're just not letting you score, and you don't have the talent within you to score with your team. So
the only thing about this team is that it is a little bit different in that it's not dependent on the running back. The running back does a lot of catching out of the backfield and stuff like that. So that will help in instances where they need to actually do hurry up offenses and things like that to try to catch back up. Not that they will most likely catch back up, but they'll be able to incorporate their running back into the passing game. And Anthony said, call me crazy, and I'm about to, but Swift is the best running back in the NFC North.
Oh, no.
I think there's two running backs in Green Bay that might want to say something. And then what about my man Dalvin Cook in Minnesota?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying no. That's why I'm saying no. Dalvin Cook supreme. That's king of the North right there for running backs.
He was the reason that they won so many games last year. It wasn't Kirk Cousins airing it out. It was Dalvin catching defenses in the secondary, napping, and he take what should only be like a 4-yard run and take it to the house, and you're just looking at him just pass everybody. Like, dude.
That dude wakes up and runs for 1,000 yards.
Swift ain't no scrub. He said we will see. Yeah, we gonna see.
You've already seen him.
Yeah, we done seen it. But Swift ain't no scrub. I'm not saying that. But just if you ain't seen Dalvin Cook, roll some tape. It looked like Derrick Henry Jr.
Yeah.
Those are the two running backs that I fear the most. Between them two and Jonathan Taylor, that's must-see TV, bro. Every time you hand off the ball, every time they touch the ball, they potentially could go to the house.
Absolutely.
Now, Swift is a dude that he will get you those extra yards. He'll fight for extra yards. He don't mind banging. He don't mind coming on that side and tangling up with a cornerback or something like that. Much props to him. He is not a scrub. But he ain't Dalvin Cook either. Sorry, he's not Dalvin Cook.
Not by
at all.
far.
And then, like I said, we got 2 running backs in Green Bay that I would probably take over Swift as well.
Absolutely. Aaron Jones is another 1,000-yard back.
Yes!
Catches out the backfield. You got A.J. Dillon, could pound it through the middle. So,
and both of them are pass catchers as well.
Both very capable backs. Not taking anything away from Swift, but he ain't at that level yet.
No. He good in Detroit. He the best thing for Detroit. I agree. Anthony says if they stay healthy. That's pretty much everybody, right? If they all stay healthy. All it takes is different teams to have certain players not be healthy. Like I saw your man TJ Watt take a lick the other day and hope he's good.
Oh God, stop my heart.
Man, I thought all about you when I saw him on the ground like that. I said, and the Rand is probably like, why is he out there? Why is he even playing?
Not no preseason game, man. Come on.
Oh God, I was like, because TJ has a high motor, right? Whether it's preseason practice or whatever, he's gonna play at a certain level. Mm-hmm. He's gonna give up his body and everything. You got to respect that about him. But at certain times, you have to protect certain players from themselves. Yeah. And get him out there, let him break a little bit of a sweat, and then pull him right back on them sidelines and put on a ball cap and say, "Hey, appreciate it." We'll see you. We'll see you
to happen when you lose a star player in the preseason. That is just awful, man.
Oh yeah. Ask the Ravens how that worked out last year, losing 3 running backs before the first game of the season.
Oh my God, yeah.
And to still after 8 games be leading the division almost, just a testament to them in that. So that was just crazy. But I really think Detroit is going to come a long way, but I just don't think that because they have to play the North so much, it's not going to show a lot as far as their record. Now they do open up the season against Philadelphia, loss. Then they got to play Washington. That's a toss-up. Then they got to go to Minnesota, probably a loss. Then Seattle may be a game. Seattle is a winnable game all of a sudden for Detroit.
It is, very winnable.
Seattle's a winnable game. I'm gonna go out on another stretch. After that, they played New England. I think they can win that game.
I think so too. New England's
there's a lot of games outside of their division. Other than I don't think they can beat Dallas though. They play Dallas, they play Miami, then they play Green Bay, Chicago. That's 0-4 right there. Then they play the Giants. They could probably beat the Giants. Then they got to play the Bills. That's probably an L. They play Jacksonville. That's a toss-up. Then they play Minnesota, probably another L. Then they play the Jets. That's a toss-up. Then they play Carolina. I don't think they can beat Carolina at Carolina. Then they play Chicago and close out in Green Bay. So I see potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 wins. 5 to 6 wins for Detroit. And even though you got to remember, this was a team at one point that was 1-15. So for them to win 5 games, I think they can win 5 games and be somewhat competitive in some of the other ones. And if they do that, I think that would be a pretty decent season for them. I don't think they're winning any of their division games. I don't see them beating Green Bay at all. I don't see them beating Minnesota at all, unless Minnesota is looking ahead to the next game. I don't see them even beating Chicago, really.
I don't think they got Chicago.
You think they can get Chicago?
Yeah, when we get to them, I'm going to tear them a new a-hole because I think they're bottom of the North.
Okay. That's going to be the next one then. And then he says, I've been saying that why you start your starts preseason even in the last game. Because you held them out the first 2 games and they probably just pressuring you. Coach, please let me play just a series or something like that. They've been chomping at the bit. Yeah, they tried to placate them by having a lot of these joint practices and stuff like that where they get a little bit of work in. But there's nothing like playing in the game where you got fans in the stands and it's live action and stuff like that. And a lot of them want to just strap it up a little bit before they start game one. They don't want to work out their rust in game one. They really want to have a little bit of a rhythm and momentum going into the first game of the season. So some guys are ultra competitive like that. Like the only way that you can keep them off the field is basically lock them out of the stadium.
I tell you another reason too. Pittsburgh's starting offensive line. You play that badly, you're gonna get your ass back out there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Tomlin ain't having that. You play that badly in a preseason game, you're gonna go back out there and continue playing. I don't care if you're a starter.
Yeah, that's true too. Absolutely. All right, so I got Detroit as going to be the fourth best team, but it sounds like the next team you gonna have as the fourth team, which is going to be them Chicago Bears. And it's not that I have so much faith in the Bears. I think Justin Fields will be better. Trevor Siemian is his backup, so he's definitely not going to be pressured at all. They put all their chips in the middle for Justin Fields. Hopefully, they are going to play to his strengths. If they do that, I see him being a little bit better. But if he does one read and takes off and run, that's not going to really help him. He's got David Montgomery as the running back, and then you've also got Darryl Mooney. You've got Byron Pringle, and they picked up N'Keal Harry, so they're going to Super Bowl for real. No, I'm just kidding. Cole Kmet as a tight end, so probably I see a lot of short pass in the game too. Scott says, "Bring back Mike Tomczak." Right? That would be nice. And Anthony says, "Who's the Bears receivers?" I'll wait. Take your time. Well, that's what I was just saying, Anthony. N'Keal Harry is going to be the dominant beast that he was in New England. Anthony, do you hear the skepticism in that? So I don't. Yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, I'm probably going to have to change that. I'm going to kind of with you. I think Detroit may actually jump Chicago and be third.
I think so.
They don't have any receivers.
Their receivers are garbage. I'm sorry. You're getting Pringle from Kansas City. He was okay.
Right.
Got released for a reason.
But they got him in as like a number two.
Yeah. You got Inquivius St. Brown, who did nothing in Green Bay.
Right.
Your best weapon is Darryl Mooney, and then you got your draft pick. But I mean, Velus Jones, he's good, but he's third round.
And Tajay Sharp is on a injured reserve, so
Montgomery is the best thing in your running game, and he's not great. Offensive line sucked last year, and it sucked this year too. So I don't know, man.
This is a team that if their defense doesn't keep them in games, they can have a lot of blowouts.
And that's the thing. They have no defense no more. All them boys are gone.
Defense got gutted out. Khalil Mack is gone.
You run up and down that roster now, you're not going to find big names. You got Robert Quinn in there. That's about it. In Dallas. But and when nobody in your secondary scares you, that's going to be a problem, because if you can't, again, I say this every single time, doesn't matter how good your defense is, if your offense can't stay on the field, everything's 3 and out, you're going to wear out whatever kind of defense you have, and then they're going to get exposed even more. So if you end up with a lot of these games where you're starting to get distanced by scoring, that's not going to bode well for you when you have no receivers. When you have running backs and you're getting outscored, well, that's utterly useless, because you can't hand the ball off to them and expect to catch back up either. So you really do need some receivers. They should have gotten some receivers this year. There were way too many receivers in the draft. I don't know what happened with that. They went with Aiden Hutchinson and forgot that they needed the rest of the team. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have a hard year, because they're going to be looking at him like he's supposed to be Micah Parsons and just be a game changer. And he'll be a good piece, but they need more pieces. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Aiden Hutchinson for Detroit, but the Bears don't even have that. So they're pretty much like I looked at their roster again. I don't see them
Actually, I see Detroit beating them both games, actually. As long as Jared Goff doesn't try to play hero ball. And Anthony, I know you're still waiting for me to list some receivers. I'll have to let you know later. I still can't find them. They might be on a milk carton, bro, at this point. Well, the team that I still think is going to be the second best in the NFC North is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. How you feel about the Vikings this year, Rand?
Oh yeah, I mean they ain't gonna win the division, but they'll be right there. I don't think they'll be competitive with Green Bay, but like we were saying, as long as they got Cousins there and they got that running back who wakes up and runs for 1,000 yards, they're gonna be good, man.
Now,
And
see,
they
the
got
thing that helps them is they do have receivers. They still got
yes,
Thielen,
they do.
good receiver. They got Justin Jefferson, beast.
Yep.
So they've got some guys. Tight end Irv Smith Jr. Not too sure about Irv, but they've got enough of offense to keep it going, to keep moving the chains. Even Madison being the backup running back, he's been around for a while too, to be able to give you a nice little change up with Dalvin Cook every now and then as well. He's good for moving the chains, a short yardage back too. So they definitely have the offense there. Their defense, they're a 3-4 defense. Patrick Peterson is still there with them. Who else is on their defense? Jordan Hicks. Somebody else I was thinking about just the other day. Now I can't think about who it was. But they have a decent defense, so I think they'll at least do good in their division. Don't sleep on Kirk's numbers the past 4 years, and they traded for a wide receiver today. Well, that would be nice.
They did.
Not sleeping on Cousins. Cousins, you know what? Cousins is one of the smartest quarterbacks out there because somehow or another, he exploited the franchise tag more than anybody in NFL history. Kirk Cousins has got to be one of the richest quarterbacks ever just because of all the franchise deals that he ended up signing in Washington, and then he comes over to Minnesota. Cousins is decent enough that if you're going to replace him, you would have to do it in the draft and you would have to rebuild, which eventually they're going to have to do anyway. He's normally better than anybody else that's just sitting there waiting to be picked up. His issue is that he's not vaccinated, to my understanding still. He's made that clear that he ain't ever going to get vaccinated, and he's already been out in preseason for COVID. So a lot of their success will go as he goes. I don't know if you want to turn it over to Trevor Siemian.
No.
No. New Orleans didn't think so either. So Kirk Cousins needs to remain healthy because he knows the offense. He's been, I was going to say he knows the offense and he's been in it for a while, but they actually changed coaches this year. So Zimmer's no longer there. So they've got a first-year coach. There's definitely going to be some transition with that as well, but I think they'll still be good enough to be second in the division.
I agree. They got the talent. I mean, offense is not going to be a problem in Minnesota at all. Their defense will be respectable enough to beat Detroit and to beat Chicago twice easily. So
Agreed.
I got them second place.
Yeah. I mean, that's 4 wins right there before you go out of your division. Green Bay Packers. I think we both agree that they'll be number one again in the NFC North, headed by that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Man, poor Jordan Love. He'll never get to play. And he doesn't have enough good tape that even at some point, they're going to have to either pick up his 5th year, which they'll probably do, or they're going to have to cut him. But he'll end up probably playing all the way through his 5th year. I don't see him getting an extension because you don't really know what you got with him.
No, you don't. You just ain't had the playing time. And you could blame Mr. Rodgers for that one.
Well,
man,
he's doing Jordan Love what Brett Favre did to Green Bay for years. Brett, you going to retire? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll retire. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. I think I'm going to retire. No, I'm not going to retire. So Brett did that for a couple of years. After a while, Green Bay said, you know what? You're retiring. or you ain't playing with us no more. You can go to the Jets if you want to, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, they just got tired of that whole end of the year game that he kept playing. And then, so you got that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. You got the running backs, as we talked about before, in Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Your newly minted number one wide receiver is going to be Alan Lazard. I wouldn't normally say Alan Lazard is a number one on any other team, but Aaron Rodgers is almost like Tom Brady sometimes. He can take somebody that's not a number one, Danny Amendola, and what was the other guy?
Scotty Miller in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, what was going in New England that he had forever?
Besides Amendola?
Yeah, it'll come to me. Somebody think about it. But he played for not Welker. Was it Welker?
Yeah, it was Wes Welker, another slot guy.
Yeah, and he made them look like beasts, all world,
Yeah.
And I think that's where Alan Lazard is going to benefit from having a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, where Aaron is really going to end up making him look better than he is. He's going to work out with them. So Allen is going to step up as their number one, and then you also have Sammy Watkins as the number two. I would have probably counted Sammy out just because he's moved around a lot. But again, there's certain quarterbacks that I think a receiver like Sammy Watkins could look like he's risen from the dead, so to speak.
And he may eventually be passed over in the depth chart this year by their draft pick, Christian Watson, who's younger, faster.
Agreed.
So we will have
and then
to
he
see
always has this good old reliable safety valve. Cobby is coming back again.
Yeah.
I thought he was done 5 years ago, but he actually catches passes from Aaron. Aaron knows where he's going to be. He knows where Aaron likes to throw it. There is definitely something to be said about chemistry. Anthony says only quarterback who says he took pills and still won the MVP. Listen, Aaron Rodgers says a lot of crazy stuff, man. You just got to realize he's a different cat. I think he does that a lot of times just to keep people off balance anyway. Like, he don't want people trying to really figure him out. So I think sometimes he just says stuff just to really get a rise out of people. I get that with Aaron. He does that. That's just him.
That, and because he's king of Green Bay and he can say what he wants.
He can say what he wants. Just like, hey, I still love the fact that when he went to Chicago, he says, "I own you. I always have."
Yeah.
And the fact that that's true. He's got receipts. But when he said that, I was done. I was like, okay. Facts. If he can stay healthy, Robert Tonyan can be a really, really good tight end. And then they still have Mercedes Lewis as well. So we'll see how that goes as far as their tight ends are concerned. I just think when you got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, and Aaron has always played with the suspect offensive line. He's one of those guys that will extend the play with his legs because he does a lot of rollouts. But the one thing about Aaron Rodgers is, he only had 4 interceptions last year.
Crazy.
So for as much as he puts the ball in harm's way,
yep,
he only had 4 interceptions.
That's insane.
Say what you want. He should have won the MVP. He should have. You throw the ball that many times and you have 4 picks, yeah, you're the MVP. Of course you are. So I don't really see a lot changing. Green Bay, though, is like the Baltimore Ravens. Great regular season team. Can't do a damn thing in the playoffs.
I don't understand that, man. It's if you look at Rodgers' career, it's crazy.
What they need to tell him is on wild card weekend or the divisional playoff round, hey, this is just a regular season game.
Somebody
or keep San Francisco away from him and porn star Jimmy. You do that, they may have a good chance of winning. But as soon as you tell them it's the playoffs, something just happens.
For
He
as many
chokes.
times as they've been in the NFC Championship with Rodgers at the helm, and he only has one ring, is crazy.
Yeah.
With all that talent there, he
And he's
kind of
one of
got
those guys, they're having to pay him so much money, they can't pay a lot of other guys. So he has to make the slack. He has to pick up the slack. He's one of those quarterbacks that can do that. Not like Dak, where they're going to be looking at Dak to kind of be like Aaron Rodgers, where he is a force multiplier, where he makes everybody around him better, whether the talent is really there or not. He's not that dude. Tom Brady's that dude. Justin Herbert may end up being that kind of dude. Josh Allen may end up being that kind of dude. I don't see that in Dak just yet. But Aaron will sit there and take the pieces that he has around them and play to their strengths. A lot of people thought it was a little tacky for him to call out his receivers and all that kind of stuff. But I do guarantee you this. Whatever he said in out loud about his receivers, he probably had already said it to him in person. He was just making it known, just to kind of light a little fire under him. But like you said earlier, he's Aaron effing Rodgers. He can say whatever he wants to. Probably doesn't mean. And you know what? Those guys, that probably is okay with. Tom Brady could have probably done the same thing. There's certain quarterbacks that Justin Fields better. You don't do what you see.
No,
you ain't that dude yet.
Don't open your mouth.
Don't open your mouth, because I can see the offensive line just letting that defense run right on up in that middle and take you down. And bring Trevor Siemian out as they cart you off the field. So don't do that, bro. Don't do that. So yeah, I definitely think that Green Bay is definitely going to pull it off again. They just, to me, it's all going to start and end with Aaron Rodgers and what he does.
Yep. So to line it back up, we got Green Bay coming in first. We got Minnesota coming in second.
Mm-hmm.
We got Detroit improving a little bit and Chicago slipping a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Chicago, new coach as well, new GM. So there's going to be some rebuilding there as well. Justin Fields is going to have to take some more lumps until he can get some more help built up around him again.
Yep.
He's going to be running for his life a lot. I think he'll have some success with that, but he just needs to be careful, Robert Griffin III. Not get knocked out of the league before the talent around you arrives.
Yeah, I want to say there's a new coordinator in Chicago too. So, all of that makes a big difference for a young quarterback, man.
It really does, because he went one season in and out of the lineup, hearing different things in his ear and this and that and the third. Now you got to come in again and hear more stuff in your ear that's going to be different. I think the Bears are tanking. You made no moves, really. Anthony, I think whether they try to tank or not, they're going to lose.
Yeah, they're going to lose anyway.
They're going to lose anyway. whether it's totally on purpose or slightly on purpose, they're going to lose just because of who they are. Sometimes you're just a loser. And it's not because you try to be a loser. It's just you can't help yourself. But I agree with you. I think they're gonna move up in the draft. I think they're gonna have a high draft pick next year, for sure. But we'll see. Moving on along to the AFC South. This is going to be interesting. This was a division that Indianapolis was a Carson Wentz pick away from potentially getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. They have a brand new rookie quarterback in Matt Ryan. I'm just kidding. They got a bunch of old dudes at quarterback. They got Matt Ryan, and his backup is Nick Foles. Have you heard this bar joke before? No, anyway. So Matt Ryan is going to be their ageless wonder. Now, look, Matt Ryan, I think, honestly, is more of a Phillip Rivers kind of person that they're looking to come in and just steady the ship. Kind of old, reliable. He knows how to play within himself. Matt Ryan does not play hero ball. He uses the tools around him. And if he doesn't have any tools around him, then he just doesn't play very well, as Atlanta can attest to. When last seen with nice tools around him, like Ridley and Julio, and had some guys in the backfield and things like that, Atlanta was a hard team to keep away. and we don't want to bring up the New England game, but other than that, he's a really good competitor. I like the move. It gives them a little bit more stability. They lean on their running back, who is a beast, in Jonathan Taylor, and he's backed up with Naeem Hines. Their wide receivers again is going to be Michael Pittman Jr. I was just making sure dude wasn't on here anymore. He looked like they finally moved on. I can't even think of his name anymore, but he's been there forever. Matt Ryan is a bum from Jermaine Parker. Jermaine, why is Matt Ryan a bum? He's Matty Ice. And Anthony says, you mean Matt Ryan that gave up that big lead in the Super Bowl? Look, that ain't no Matt Ryan solely now. He can't pass and catch the ball, and he don't play defense neither.
Right.
Yeah, y'all gonna lay all that on Matt Ryan. Dang, Matt Ryan loses. Okay, Matt Ryan's the losing quarterback in that Super Bowl. Was it 28-3?
Yeah.
Okay, listen. He does deserve some of the blame. But you can't hang this man's career on one game. Y'all don't do that to Aaron Rodgers, who can't win no playoff games after going to the championship game how many times? Y'all don't do that to him.
It's funny how people do that though. Like Carson Wentz, like last year, right? Everybody, well, not everybody, but you ask the typical fan, they would say, "Oh, Wentz sucked last year." Not the case. The dude passed for 27 touchdowns, only had 7 picks. He guided Indy almost to a playoff berth. He was just one game away, but for that one game, because it was Jacksonville, that defined his entire season.
Jermaine says he's not a winner, and Anthony says when you think of Matt Ryan, what you think of is that Super Bowl. Yeah, but I mean, okay, let's be honest. And I'm not trying to, again, take any blame away from Matt Ryan. He was in that game. Did anybody that year really think Atlanta was going to the Super Bowl?
No.
That in and of itself was a surprise that they even got there. I think they played above their weight. Jermaine says 120 to 102 career. True. But Jay, he had a lot. And now, the only reason that I will say he should have had a better record is he played in NFC South. And for years, the South was almost like the NFC East, where the same team did not win the division year after year. It was always a new division winner. And there were a lot of years where New Orleans wasn't that great. But then there were a lot of years where he played where New Orleans was the team to beat. And Carolina was actually a pretty good team too. That division used to be tough, except for Tampa Bay was always in the bottom. And a lot of times Atlanta was fighting for third or fourth in that division. The year they went to the Super Bowl, I don't even know if they won their division, but they actually got hot at the right time and went to the playoffs and got to the Patriots, But I hear what you're saying. Julio won those games. But who threw it to him?
Right.
That's like saying Cooper Kupp is a great wide receiver, but Matthew Stafford is a bum, which people didn't do.
Come on, man.
Did Cooper throw the ball? Now, look, when you have Julio Jones on your team, you don't have to be the most accurate, but Julio stretches the field. So you have to have somebody that has an arm to be able to get that ball out there to him. He said could have. He could have threw the ball to himself. Really? Is that what? It's killing me, Ram.
I know.
Look, I'm not going to be able to convince y'all that Matt Ryan is a decent quarterback. Okay, listen. When Phillip Rivers went to Indianapolis, his best days were behind him. He did it all in San Diego. And they were still a respectable team because they ran a balanced offense. That's all I'm saying. When you've got receivers like Pittman, you got Paris Campbell, you got some of those guys out there that can get you respectable yards. You should be okay there. And then you got Jonathan Taylor, who a lot of times having a good running game opens up your passing game. Tremaine says, okay. So having a decent running game, sometimes the run sets up your pass. Sometimes your passing game sets up your run, because then you can open up a lot of play action. When they have to account for that running back on that field like that, a lot of times they're stacking the box and you do some play action and act like you're handing it off. Now you got receivers on one-on-one coverage, particularly on the outsides. All he has to do is be decent playing the short game and take opportunities every now and then when it comes to the long game. That's all he has to do. Doesn't have to be spectacular. We don't need Matt Ryan of Boston College days. We don't need Matt Ryan in his first couple of years in Atlanta with Julio Jones and all those other guys out there that he was throwing to, and he'll be okay. Okay. I think that's really going to be the key, Rand, just a balanced offense from them. Let their defense keep them in a lot of the games, and they should be okay.
Look,
I still got them for second though in the AFC South though.
When you got a running back that constantly gives you 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, I mean, of course your offense and your quarterback's going to be successful. That's all they're looking for is somebody just to right the ship. They got the talent on the defensive side of the ball. Indy's a very good defense. They ain't got a whole bunch of big names, but they're a very good defense. And their offense is very capable. So you bring in Matt Ryan, who's just a solid veteran quarterback, who's not going to go out there and throw away games. They're going to be right back in contention like they were last year.
Mm-hmm. So, Anthony, well, first Jermaine said, good, you ain't going to get it as far as the old Matt Ryan. We know that. We're not going to get the old Matt Ryan. Anthony says, when you say Stafford threw the ball 10 yards, but who ran it to the touchdown? Kupp, not Stafford. Yeah, but Anthony, I'm sure you will agree with this. Some quarterbacks throw the receiver open. Some throw to open receivers.
Look, man, you need to go back and watch the LA Rams versus San Francisco 49ers championship game in which he put the ball on the money to win that game.
And that's my point. There's a lot of quarterbacks that can throw to receivers, and there's no yards after the catch because they didn't throw them open. They threw it to them.
Yes.
Throwing a receiver open is you're throwing it to him in stride so that when Dre says, I'll trust y'all as the experts. That's right. And you should. And tell all your friends. But no, there's a difference as a quarterback. When you know where your receiver is going to be, there's a difference between throwing them the ball so that as they catch it in stride and they can keep on going forward. If you throw it to them a little bit behind them or something like that, like there's passes where you drop it right in the basket and they catch it in stride and they keep on running. There's other ones that have to come back to the ball. Well, that gives the defense time to collapse on them or use the sidelines to push them out. Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford by far have one of the best chemistries out there when it comes to quarterback to receiver. And they developed that in the first year. So I can only imagine what this year is going to be like.
Stafford is an absolute beast, man. You can't put that Sam Darnold title on him. Like Darnold drop a little dump off to Christian McCaffrey and McCaffrey take it to the house.
Yeah, if you
Darnold
said
gets
that,
the passing yards, you can't do that.
Then I would say you're absolutely right. Where McCaffrey had 99% to do with that play being whatever it was.
Right.
Totally. I mean, I get that, but that's not the same thing. But definitely, Jermaine, you should definitely trust the experts on this. I really think that Indianapolis is still going to be the second best team. I just think that the team that we'll talk about in a second still going to have a little bit for them. 3 and 4, I don't know about Rand, and that's the crazy thing. Let's talk about the Houston Texans because I saw and listen, when the Houston Texans had an opportunity to get Baker Mayfield because they got rid of Deshaun Watson, they could have easily said, okay, you take Deshaun, we'll take Baker. No thanks. We're good. We got a guy named Davis Mills who was a rookie last year that we would like a lot. And everybody kept thinking, man, y'all just playing. Y'all just saying that. Y'all really gonna go get somebody. Who y'all gonna get? Y'all gonna get Jimmy G? Who y'all gonna get? Davis Mills is going to be the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans.
Good luck.
Now, I agree. Kyle Allen, remember Kyle Allen?
Yeah.
Panthers, Washington days. He's the backup, so Davis should be the quarterback. Davis Mills is better than Baker, is what Anthony says. Well, I did see. Well, listen. Anthony, I don't know if that's true or not. I did see him play some decent games last year, but here's the thing. Nobody knew. Well, listen, he wasn't originally supposed to be the starter. It was going to be Deshaun Watson. Till Deshaun basically made it clear later on that he wasn't going to play for them another game. And then all of the allegations came out. So he had no pressure on him. He wasn't supposed to be there. It was kind of like the coach they had. Well, we only got you, but we really weren't going to keep you, but we just hired you anyway. And then they got rid of him. So he really wasn't supposed to be that guy. There was not a lot of pressure on him. Now, with that said, though, in certain spots, he did look actually pretty good at times. Can he be a full-time starter with knowing everybody now knows he's a starter? He was a rookie. There was no tape on him, so people had to figure out how to play him. Now he's coming into year 2 with that. He's playing in a very tough division. Outside of the division, he may be a little bit more competitive. Inside of the division, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on him. He does have, and he doesn't have Duke Johnson or David Johnson as his running backs anymore. He's got Rex Burkhead and Damian Pierce. He's got Brandon. I always get hurt Cooks, and I ain't playing him in my fantasy anymore because he can't stay healthy. And then that's about it. The other receivers, Tyler Johnson, Phillip Dorsett, Nico Collins, Chris Moore. Whatever. Tight end, Brevin Jordan. Never heard of it. So not a whole lot there. The only person that I even know of is the tackle, Tunsil. He better have a line.
Davis Mills, 16 touchdown passes last year, 10 interceptions. That ain't going to win you nothing in this league.
Nothing.
He didn't even have 3,000 yards passing. Let's pump the brakes on Davis Mills, man.
Exactly.
He got a long way to go.
Long way
to go. There's a difference between coming out and stepping out and being a quarterback in year 1 and then year 2 when everybody in the league has a chance to prepare for you.
Yeah, they got tape on him now.
Real more. Yeah,
they got tape. They got tendencies. They know that offensive line. Anthony says, give Mills some weapons. He only has Cooks that goes over 1,000 yards back to back. Here's the problem. Cooks is a burner. To be able to get Cooks the ball, you got to have time to throw him the ball. If that line don't hold up, he'll never see Brandon Cooks. The only way Brandon Cooks will be effective is in some end-around plays, some direct snaps, handoffs, things like that, to catch the ball quick in the slot and hope he catches in his stride and can take it to the house. It's going to be a little bit harder to do that. So good luck with that. The problem, Rand, that I'm having with Houston and Jacksonville is I don't know what to make of Jacksonville. Now, I do say that with the fact that they didn't have Travis Etienne last year because he got hurt right before the season began. I think he could be a game changer for that team where they had basically just Trevor Lawrence just trying to survive out there. They did take Evan Ingram from the Giants as a tight end. That should help them there. They've got Marvin Jones Jr. as a receiver, Christian Kirk now as a receiver. They've got more upside than I would say Houston. You just got to be able to see Sunshine put it all together with those guys.
You're answering your own question. You said you didn't see the difference between Jacksonville and Houston, but I mean, you're naming it as you're going up and down the list.
Facts. Yeah.
You got Etienne is coming in. He's looked great this preseason. Trevor Lawrence has a much better upside and had a better season last year than did Mills. You have 2 capable wide receivers in Jacksonville. Christian Kirk, who did good things in where was he at last year? Arizona. He was
there, out there with Kyler Murray and DeAndre.
Yeah, you got Marvin Jones on the other side. So a fresh new start in Jacksonville. The big problem last year for Jacksonville was the damn coach. So once that poison is up out their system, now they could breathe good again.
That's very true.
Yeah.
They started without having a chance just because of that whole fiasco.
Yeah.
And Anthony, to your point, where you said give Mills some weapons, well, that's what they did with Trevor. They gave him some weapons, and that's going to probably propel them to third place in the AFC South, and Houston is going to be in the bottom. Now, do I see Jacksonville as a playoff team? No, because I don't see I don't see more than two teams coming out of the AFC South. Matter of fact, I don't even see but one coming out of the AFC South. I think if you don't win your division, there's a good chance you may not make the playoffs if your record isn't really good, because the AFC North is stacked and the AFC West is stacked.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you better win your division, because there ain't but so many places. Was it 7 teams in the playoffs now?
7.
So, and 4 of them are division winners, only 3 wild cards. And if you look at those divisions, I mean, however you want to say who wins the West, there's 2 others in the same division that could be in there. Same thing with the North. And yeah, you better win a bunch of games. You better win outside your division, because, yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy. All right. Well, that leaves us with the Tennessee Titans. And they bring back the old reliable, no, I'm just kidding, Ryan Tannehill, who did the same thing. Now, okay, I don't hear people saying the same thing about Tannehill. He did a Carson Wentz too. He threw an interception at the end of a playoff game. And that's how Cincinnati made it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill is the 54th man on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
He alone is the reason that they made it to the Super Bowl. So, but I mean, things go back and forth. But Tannehill has had some success there. He's backed up by the rookie Malik Willis. Then they also have Derrick Henry. Tremaine says true. See? Thank you. So now he's going to start looking at Tannehill the same way. Yeah, he's a bum too. He's not a winner. Yeah, I want to hear that. Give that same energy. He's not a winner. But they have Derrick Henry, and then of course they went to the Rams and got. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. They got Derek Woods from the Derek Woods. Robert Woods from the Rams. Traylon Burks as a receiver. And God, I don't even realize some of these other names. The biggest loss from receiver is going to be AJ Brown.
That's a huge.
And Tannehill is going to really lean heavily on Derrick Henry till he can figure out what he has with his receivers. Because you had Julio, of course. Julio was hurt a lot, wasn't very productive, but you also had AJ Brown on that team, and that was definitely huge for you. So we'll see how that goes. Tight ends, you got Austin Hooper. I didn't know he was still playing in the league. I don't know if Hooper still has a lot left from an offensive standpoint, but that was really the best role he played in all those years. Atlanta, and then he went to Cleveland, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. I still have faith, though, that the Titans, because of their coaching, I think Vrabel will find a perfect mix for that team to really get them going. He said, Anthony says they traded A.J. Brown and drafted an A.J. Brown, then signed an injured ACL tear Woods. That was smart. Woods has been back from his ACL injury for a while now. If he's fully healed, I mean, hell, last seen, here's Jermaine. Last seen, Robert Woods pre-injury was a really, really good receiver for the Rams. They just ended up with a lot of receivers.
With Tennessee, how I've evaluated that. So the loss of A.J. Brown is huge, because just the threat of A.J. being out there made life
You had to account for him.
For Derrick Henry. Yeah. So now that he's gone, your number one now is a rookie, Traylon Burks, who you're counting on to step in there and just replace all that production that AJ Brown had. I'm not so sure of that. And then you got
Yeah.
Robert Woods coming off injury.
ACL. Yeah.
Um, so I just see them taking a step back. They better keep Derrick Henry healthy the entire season, because if they don't, they no longer have DeAndre
Foreman.
in there. Yep, who could step in there and be a capable backup. Now they got
Where is he now?
He's in Carolina now,
Yes,
backing
he
up
is.
McCaffrey. Yep. So
Yes.
I just got Tennessee taking a step back. I got them number 2, and I got the Colts number 1.
Okay.
Everything
that's fair. That's fair. I was giving it more towards the coaching than anything. Not knowing what Matt Ryan was going to do first year with the team and everything else. If they run that balanced offense that I was talking about, there's a good chance. I think it's going to come down like it did last year between the two of them to the end. I don't think anybody's going to be a runaway with it. I think somebody's going to have to take it. I don't think anybody in the division other than Jacksonville and Houston will give it to you. I think that the other two will have to really battle it out. Every game is going to matter, not just the division games, but the games they play outside the division. Back to my old question: who's the Colts receivers?
They got very capable receivers. They got a Pittman Jr., who's going to be their number 1. On who they got on the other side, I forget. They got rid of the old guy.
Yeah, been there forever.
Yeah.
I had to figure that one out again. Jermaine says Tannehill 73-60 win-loss. He's a bum. And he says it's something that says OBJ beside. He's a bum. I don't know what that means. Yeah, tell me what that one means, Jermaine. He's a bum, OBJ. But
tell him how you really feel.
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I could actually see the case for Tennessee not winning that division, especially with AJ Brown not being there. I just think if Robert Woods comes back anywhere close to what he was before he went out, and I know how ACLs can be sometimes, where some players recover very well. They do their cutting, they do everything. Some of them, it almost takes them a year, a season to really get back into it and be that guy. I think Woods is a different kind of receiver, though. He can play short across the slot. He can play the clown. He can play the post. He can play the X. You can use him in a lot of 11 personnel. You can use him in 21 personnel. If you're going to sit there and run 2 tight ends and have a receiver play in the slot, you can do a lot of different things with him. He can make up for a lot of that. You get more of your tight ends involved in your passing game. Your running back is an extension of your passing game. Remember, Derrick Henry caught a lot of passes in the backfield. If Derrick Henry catches passes in the backfield and you are a defensive back and you see this man coming at you, you got to make a business decision. Keep that in mind. You're going to have to make a business decision. Do I tackle this man or do I end up on the pup?
End up on the highlight reel.
Ask Josh Norman how that worked out. I should have that play in our intro. Just have Derrick Henry just throw Josh Norman with one arm. That will forever be the one of the best plays, other than Mark Sanchez's butt fumble. One of my favorite plays of all time, just watching the butt fumble go.
So the Colts wide receiver Pittman Jr. and Paris Campbell.
That was it.
2 good ones. Yep.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. Anthony says if Henry comes back better, will Taylor get the hype again like last year? Well, you got to remember, Taylor got it by default because it took him a lot of games to finally overtake. Derrick Henry was on the injured list for 6 games before somebody overtook him with the rushing record. He was leading the league in rushing by that much. It took a lot just for Taylor to surpass him. He had to play a lot of games that Henry didn't play just to surpass him. I think they'll both be okay in their own right. I think what happened was Derrick Henry was still in a lot of the noise, rightfully so. Once he went down and people really saw what this kid Jonathan Taylor was doing, it just made him look. I don't think it was hype He was doing his thing. Hype is normally when you got somebody out there and they're not really as good as you think, but everybody just kind of talking about them and stuff like that. I think Jonathan Taylor is as good as advertised. Do you not think he's that good, Anthony?
Taylor is an absolute beast. He is an animal.
He said, "Yep, that's why I got Henry on my fantasy team." And you're a smart man to do so. I would do the same thing. It took everything I had in me not to pick Christian McCaffrey. I don't think I picked him. No, I didn't. It took everything I had. I can't trust it. We just had our fantasy draft this past Sunday. I got to be, and it forecasted that I'll be tied for second in the league, Rand.
I ain't even looked at mine. I evaluate myself.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that hard. I did exactly what I said. I got 3 tight ends. I'll be able to trade one away. I waited to get a quarterback until like the 9th round. I can't even tell you who it is. I'll have to look. I cannot even remember. I think I got Tua. And that's not really a bad bet, I think, because if you got Jalen Waddle on one side and you got the cheetah on another side, and his line can protect him long enough to put that ball in the air. I'm just saying. And he can run.
Yeah, he falls in that category like a couple other quarterbacks. Like it's just going to all come down on his shoulders this year with success. I mean, because there's no excuses to be had. I mean, you got 2 capable wide receivers out there. You got a good tight end and a run game finally in Miami. So
you got Tua and you got Jalen Hurts, both in the same situation. Now, another one though, Rand, that we'll have to keep an eye on is Trey Lance. And did you see what San Francisco did with Jimmy G?
Yeah, they extended him, gave him a no trade clause, and he's going to be backing up Lance. So it's a good move. I mean,
now it's a good move, but do you think if Lance struggles early, the fans will turn on him and call for Jimmy G?
Probably, but I don't think the kid is going to struggle early. They are a run-based offense. They can do a lot of things with their wide receiver, like forgetting his name.
Debo?
Debo, yeah. Debo could do a lot to help him out.
I agree.
They finally got mobility in the quarterback position. Like when things broke down last year, here comes Jimmy G in a dumb pass that's probably going to be intercepted.
Right.
Lance, he could take off and get some yards.
That's true.
So, I don't see him struggling. I mean, it could.
I don't either, because I think Kyle Shanahan, again, is another one of those coaches. Everybody wants to talk about they brilliant offensive minds, but he really is. Where I think he can develop an offense where he gives them a couple of quick reads. If nothing's there and it breaks down, step up in the pocket. And if you got a bunch of green grass 10 yards in front of you, go get it.
Yeah.
Just learn how to slide, learn how to get down, and I think you'll be okay.
I can't wait till the season starts, man. There's so many questions out there, and you're wondering how things are going to play out. You know, you're wondering how Lance is going to do in San Fran. You're wondering how the AFC West is going to shake up, how Russ is going to do in Denver. Just so many unanswered questions, and we're about to find all this stuff out.
Yeah, Derek Carr now having Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
What is Aaron Rodgers going to do? What is Tom Brady going to be able to do without his line being intact and Godwin not being there? What is Dak going to be able to do without having all of the receivers? Now that Amari's gone, is CeeDee Lamb going to really be that dude? There's some serious questions. You know, is Carolina effectually better now because they have Baker Mayfield instead of Sam Darnold? And what can that offense really look like with a healthy Christian McCaffrey and a DJ Moore and a Robbie Anderson and another and a young defense that has gotten a year older and a year wiser?
What are the Saints going to do with Jameis this year?
They're going to do with Jameis. How is he going to work with Mike Thomas there, Chris Olave? That's going to be interesting to see. There's a lot of teams that man, we're going to find out. And some of them are playing some really tough games early. So we're going to find out who a lot of these dudes are within the first 4 games of the season.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait to see how it shapes out, man.
Well, we got one more show before the season starts, and I believe that'll give us the NFC West and the AFC West. So we'll do that next week. Then on that Thursday, we will have Thursday night football. I cannot wait. I can't believe they got that as the opening game.
Prime time.
Because most people are saying that that's going to be the Super Bowl matchup, which it never works out that way. But we'll also come up with our Super Bowl pick, since we've already told you for the first 24 teams who's going to win the divisions and who's going to come in what place. Then we'll have to get around to determining who's actually going to make it to the Super Bowl. Rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, all that stuff will be out there for us to talk about. We hope that you guys join us. We appreciate y'all coming in every single week, laying your comments. And yes, Jermaine, as you said before, just trust the experts. That's all you got to do. Come here, kick your feet up, listen to us. And then when you're at the water cooler, no pun intended, Rand, when you're at the water cooler the next day, you can talk about it and sound halfway like you know what you're talking about. Ladies, you can do the same thing. Take what we say and talk to your husband and just make him go, how you know that? So all of those things can help out a lot of people. We really appreciate it. We'll see y'all again next week. Y'all take care.